up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. It has been almost a year since I've actually filmed a chat while sitting in the car, so we're bringing it back in 2025 because Backstreet's back. All right, I am so corny, but anyway, the topic of today's video is detrimental debt and America's cry, or rather scream, for help. It's another day on this roller coaster of a planet, and this has probably been something on your mind. I know it's been on mine. So we're going to talk about the national debt for a little bit, and I'm going to put this up on the screen because I think I want you to share share the reaction with me, okay, rather. So you look at this and you think, for something that's so important, it kind of looks not serious. It's colorful. It makes it feel like it's not real. It's giving Candy Crush vibes, or that there's really no meaning behind it. Well, there is, and the reality of it is, for the last 100 or so years, we decided that the gold was no longer going to back our dollar. And this is where we are. We're $36 trillion in debt. And, 1933, when we stopped doing that, as we've all become older, it's become more and more difficult to live, more and more difficult to pay bills, because everything has gone up in price. And even since 2021, when I started working full-time, it has become more and more difficult to survive. Now, my obligations are much different than they were in 2021. In fact, I'm sitting in one of them. But even the cost of healthcare has gone up. The cost of car insurance has gone up. The cost of everything has just continued to go up. The cost of eating, sleeping, and breathing becomes more expensive almost daily. And this is really something that a lot of people don't discuss, but this is nothing new. I mean, it was hard for our parents. It was hard for millennials. It's hard for Gen Z. But for millennials who saw the Twin Towers fall and then the 2008 recession, Gen Z, their Twin Towers was COVID. And beyond that, after COVID, where we've tried to come back, but we're not really back, and things have still continued to go up in price. I mean, it's hard for everyone right now, period. No matter what you make, everything, it's called adulting, they say, right? It's always something, and it truly is always something. If you're in the earlier years of Gen Z, you graduated in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, and then for years after, it certainly wasn't better. But also, when you think about the national debt, you didn't really sign any loan documents agreeing that you would take on the debt. But the way the debt is portrayed by our people who are supposedly elected to serve us, it's our debt. It's our fault. It's our debt. But I mean, as American citizens, we don't sign our name on those loan documents. The U.S. just loans out money as if she's got a pocketbook full of it. Absolutely not. But our government officials and elected politicians tell us, oh, it's the debt of the American people. It's going to follow our grandchildren. No, it's not going to follow our grandchildren, because we're not going to have grandchildren for it to fall too, because it's so expensive to even have children nowadays, unless you work for yourself and make plenty of money. Yet, Uncle Sam, good old Uncle Samuel, takes enough of our income, about 50%, let's be honest. It's 30 to 50, but 50% being strong-armed, because even if you only take 30% of your income, you still pay taxes on every other purchase you make. So, it's 50%, let's be honest. And says, yeah, we're going to take this, good luck. You might get some of it back at tax time, but probably won't. Now, the argument for taxation is, what about the roads? What about this? What about that? Listen, you have state taxes, you have all the taxes we pay on gas, on groceries, all that nonsense. That's enough money. If they can't manage that budget, I don't know what to tell them. Cut them off too, as far as I'm concerned. But state governments get their fair share. Look at property taxes, okay? Every single year they go up. Every single year they go up. Every single year. The thing about property taxes is it makes it feel as though you never own your actual property. So you buy a home, you pay for it in cash, yada, yada, yada. You never actually own your property because you pay property taxes on it. What in the world? And it's funny because you hear about things like Doge, however you're supposed to say it. Did anyone else buy Dogecoin in 2021? Because I'm definitely a holder of that. But I'm not getting rid of it anytime soon. And it's funny because Doge is at the national level, but here in Jacksonville, where I live, our city has developed their own Doge. And so far, they're over 15 million in savings. Pretty substantial there. Makes you wonder. Because also, we don't get to pick our utility partner, okay? So they just announced not too long ago that our utility company, that we don't get to pick, mind you, raised the salary of their CEO, which means it's going to cost us 20% more. Guess what? I'll be using my lights 20% less if you want to play that game. So we're going to bring back lanterns and candles. Now, you or me, we have to operate on a budget, right? Manage our finances carefully to stay afloat, especially if you're single, have no dependents, and work 2 or 3 jobs to stay afloat. Why we have deviated from a budget as a country is really beyond me. It's a basic business practice, which is why people who want to run for office need to have a minimum experience of running a business. Why are we handing out money to whoever wants it? We need to care for our own people first. Period. But also, let's talk about our trade partners. We owe all these countries money, and we owe a lot. From a negotiating standpoint, anytime you owe money, you're not in the driver's seat. That puts the United States in a bad position. And if you think about it, China owns farmland in the United States. And in my mind, I think about our national debt, and I think, what if China decides to call us up one day and say, hey, time to collect on that debt, so why don't you sell us the Southeast to pay for it? Now, the likelihood of that happening, probably slim, but part of me wonders, what if? What happens if the United States declares bankruptcy? Does China and all these other countries that we owe money to come and be like, okay, you get a portion of the United States and you get a portion of the United States? The United States is for the taking. I mean, is it going to turn into the societies that we see in movies like The Hunger Games and Divergent, where we only have a portion of the United States left that's actually the United States? Kind of scary. Has anybody seen the movie Red Dawn? Or another movie that has Gerard Butler in it? I'll put the movie up here. I can't think of the name right now, but there's another movie where either a Chinese or Japanese country invades the United States and tries to kidnap the president. I mean, this is the stuff that goes through my head. Like, these are the things that I think about, and I wonder, you know, what if? Now, am I saying things that probably will never happen? Yes. But, you know, in my mind, I wonder, what if these countries were like, hey, America, time to pay up? I guess that we could turn the tables on them and say, okay, you know, Japan, China, it's time for you to also pay up. But at the end of the day, like, does China owe us more than we owe them? Or does Japan owe us more than we owe them? Because at that point, we could just wipe out the debt. But here's the thing, we need that money. We can't just wipe it out. We need that money. But if you really want to see the inner operations of a key part of why our budget is so bloated and why our spending is so bad, there's a TV show called Madam Secretary. Maybe you've heard of it. It's absolutely one of my favorite shows to date, because it shows some of the inner workings of the U.S. government. And it makes sense why we have so much debt after watching the show. And every episode they're giving out money, which that might be a slight exaggeration, but at least a couple episodes in the season we were giving out money every which where. And why are we giving out money and not thinking about our national debt? But other countries expect us to help them. There's an expectation there. We need to remove that expectation and let everyone know, listen, America, she's healing. Okay, she's trying to protect herself. She needs to get herself right, okay? And then we can maybe talk about helping. But we've got our own country to heal and get right with. America has to get right with herself before she can do anything else. So now, tariffs. This is highly contested. Whether you watch CNN or Fox, MSNBC, ABC, all the networks, it's the talk of the town for the news media right now. Been in the news cycle since pretty much February. But here's the thing though. If in fact we have actually been ripped off by all these countries for over 100 years, then maybe we should actually develop a backbone and be like, you're not going to roll over us anymore. We're done. We're done being taken advantage of. We're done being the one that takes on all the heat. You're going to pay what we ask you to, part of doing business with America. But you know, it's actually refreshing when you find something in your house that actually has the Made in America stamp on it. It truly is. And you think about these countries that borrow money from us and they're like, oh, we'll pay you back. No worries. They don't ever pay us back. That's not a good position to be in. I mean, it's in our interest as the American populace, and it's in the interest of our entire country's health and wealth to cut down our spending, get a balanced budget going, and right the ship so we can stop sinking. Cut the unnecessary fat that's burning a hole in our pocket. I mean, foreign countries hold $8.5 trillion of U.S. debt. So the rest of it, the rest of the $36 trillion is all on the American people. There's some trimming that needs to happen there. But you know, tariffs and government spending are not new talking points. They've been talking about this since I've been alive for the last 26 years. Go find the news clips of it. You can easily find this stuff. The reality of it is America is in such a bad position that she cannot take care of herself. She needs to be able to take care of herself. And you know what, for that matter, her citizens can't even take care of themselves either, because it is so bad. It is so hard. You know, why do we have to buy things from overseas? Why? Why can't we just support our own country's products? Now, I get it. You know, the iPhone I'm holding, the car I'm sitting in, it all came from overseas. But also, look at Apple just invested money in the United States. Hyundai just invested money in the United States. My car probably became more valuable because of that investment. My phone probably became more valuable because of that investment. Now, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm delusional. I could be in a state of delusion with regard to that statement, but that's okay too. The reality of it is we've got to cut spending. We've got to cut. We've got to stop relying on just debt to live. I mean, and the same goes for the American people. You know, it's so difficult. The price of everything is so bad. If America rights her ship, the American people can right their ship. Let's put it that way. I mean, it's a terrible situation to be in. But there's nothing we can do about it as American citizens. I mean, honestly, we just have to manage our own budget, manage our own life, figure that out, go from there, and do the best we can. And finally, on a more humorous note, something I saw recently that just made me cringe. Made me want to go Dave Ramsey. Burrito layaway now, with the partnership between DoorDash and Klarna. Oh, Lord have mercy. First of all, DoorDash and Uber Eats delivery, they're just ridiculous to pay for. Anyone who does that is ridiculous, but sometimes you do it out of convenience. I get it. I've done it. Not going to sit here and say that I haven't ever ordered stuff off Uber Eats or DoorDash. I used to love Bike Squad. And they kind of disappeared off the map. But I've been fighting a certain delivery company for 3 years that keeps charging me for Dash Pass that I never signed up for. And every single time I dispute it. Of course, the customer service is crap too, so it's not like I can get any help that way. But I've at this point, it is up to the credit card company to figure it out for me. And so far, they've been able to get every single dispute back. So there's that. Here's the also reality of this. Target and Apple partnered with these pay-in-4 companies long before this year. The actual partnership is just a strategic partnership between the two companies. I mean, I don't really think it reflects anything with our economy, but I mean, if you're financing a burrito from Chipotle, maybe you should reevaluate yourself and be like, maybe you shouldn't be ordering Chipotle. But, you know, some people really genuinely believe that sometimes it just doesn't matter because the cost of ordering takeout is cheaper than ordering all the ingredients to cook something. I get it. I've done it before. I'm a busy gal. I have school. I have my side hustles. I have a lot going on. I get it. Convenience comes with a cost though. That's the thing that's important to recognize. But, and even like with like rent prices going up and stuff, like what people don't understand is like, yeah, okay, your rent's going up, but you have to understand too, the property owner, their property taxes are going up too. So while people say not all landlords are the same, obviously, but when property taxes go up, you have to raise the price, period. That's just the reality of it. That's just how it is, period. But let's be real. It's tough out there. Whether you make $30K or $130K, everyone is feeling the squeeze right now. We've watched prices skyrocket, savings become a fantasy, and side hustles become a method of survival. But the bigger point is, America's got to get her stuff together. We all do. And until then, let's please not put burritos on credit. If something I said in this video struck a chord with you, comment down below, vent, rant, share your experience. I want to hear it. And don't forget, as Bob Marley said, every little thing is going to be all right. Hit like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.